See if anybody shows up. We're live. OmniBros live. Is anybody out there?
Hello.
Hello.
Is there anybody there?
I know.
I just got the notification that we're live.
Hello,
okay.
friends. Hello.
Okay. Well, we're live, but there's nobody watching yet. Oh, wait. I see 12 people are watching, but I'm not getting any comments.
I guess nobody's.
Okay, so somebody's watching us. I'm OmniDog from Omnibus Collectors and joined by the Omnibus Collector. How's it going?
It's going.
And Comics Guide 101, but just Comics Guide now.
Hi, how's it going?
Okay, there's a bunch of people. Hello, people. Thank you for... Okay, good. All the usual suspects. Let's see. We got Gary Sandberg. We got Sazmurf, Mr. Awesome, James, Tyler, Oxmeat Pete, Joe Chip. Mr. Awesome says smash that like button. Okay, we're rolling. And we are live. OmniBros. This is the bucket list episode. Books to read. Is it books that we want to read before we die, or books we're telling the viewers they should read before they die?
I took it as the former.
Yeah, we
wanted to read.
Yeah,
but okay. The latter is also a good idea.
Yeah, we'll lecture you. We'll tell you what you should read before you croak.
So now we're revealing what we haven't read.
I got my sound bar, but I haven't got it hooked up yet. I just picked it up and I had about 400 chores I had to do. But it's up there, and so far it's got spousal approval, but I think it's going to get even more approval once it's hooked up and she hears it, because I think it's going to be awesome. And I got that.
We got our new sound system, but I don't have the new speakers yet. So it's just a new receiver with the same old speakers I've had for like 20 years.
I'm taking down the non-surround sound Bose speakers that never really surrounded and just going with the sound bar. I got a good recommendation in the Omniplex, and I am looking forward to hooking it up. I got a really good deal on it. Gerard can't play. He forgot his bucket. Hugo says the three Musketeers. What soundbar did you get? I got the LG something. Let me see what I got, because it was a recommendation from the Omniplex. So let's see where I got. It was from Ryan Barrett, I think. Ryan got, yeah. It was Ryan's post. Let's see. It was the LG SN8YG 3.1.2 CH high resolution bar. That's what I got.
3.14159.
Right. And the pizza was from Round Table, and it looked really good in this post. This pizza looked amazing.
Ooh.
Did I tell y'all about the pizza joint that we went to like a month ago?
Well, you can when we're done talking about me.
Okay.
Okay, you can go. I'm done.
There's a place called DeLuca out here. And you know, like churrascarias, like the Brazilian restaurants where they carve off a piece of meat for you?
Yeah.
They come around and do you want some steak? And you're like, yeah. Do you want some bacon wrapped pork chop? Yes. It's the same deal, but for pizza. And like,
on a skewer?
They don't have it on a skewer. They have it on the platter, and they have like, it's like thin slices, and they come around and they're like, I have the whatever Like there was like a chicken tikka masala pizza and a margarita pizza and a 4-cheese pizza and a buffalo chicken gorgonzola and there was one that was like sopressata and hot honey.
Ooh, hot
And
honey.
yeah, that was the one that Megan was like, she was like, yes, keep coming. And they have like a Nutella pizza and a banana pizza for dessert. So like
Banana pizza, dessert pizza.
yeah, dessert pizzas. So my aunt came in town yesterday, and I tried to convince that we should go there to eat, but I was overruled, and we got Greek food instead. I was like, damn it. But
I'm going to come there just to go to that pizza place.
If you
sounds
had to
good.
do one of the fast food pizza chains, which one would you go for?
Domino's.
Domino's?
Probably the same since they redid everything.
Yeah.
I like the crusts. Domino's been killing the game with that crust lately, man.
The like it's buttery with the parm on there and the garlic. Yeah, the crust is something else. I grew up more with Papa John's and everyone else because I think that's what was close to the house. And everyone else would always do Pizza Hut, but like Pizza Hut to me, and Pizza Hut stands are gonna get upset, but like it just always too greasy. Like the crust was too greasy, the cheese was too greasy, the meat was too greasy. It just never really did it for me.
Now, next to Maginot, before you judge, he did say, "What's your favorite fast food pizza?"
Yeah. I
So
mean, if you're gonna do it right,
we're not
if you're gonna
talking
do it,
about New York style pizza slices.
yeah.
We're just talking about the delivery ones.
Yeah, my
if you're gonna do
favorite
it-
of all time is Little Caesars, obviously.
If you're gonna do it right, you go to a little Italian shop, like a little that specializes in doing that stuff, or like a local pizza place.
Yeah.
You go to a joint in New York where it's $1 a slice, but 20
Yeah.
bucks for a pie
Yeah.
because math doesn't make sense.
Let's see. T-Lar Blunt is up in the air, 50,000 feet. That's like the moon, isn't it?
That's taller than me.
And no, there will be no freestyle rapping. We like our viewers. I guested on Tyler's freestyle rapping show last night for about 5 minutes, and I couldn't hang in there with listening to his freestyle rapping. I had to bail. He didn't have the music on. It was just him going, just freestyle rapping about everybody in the chat. Yeah, and I was on background going. It was a disaster. Speaking of not disasters, though, InStockTrades.com. Wait, I have a banner for that. InStockTrades.com, where you can get your collected editions up to 50% off. Loyalty discounts add 2% to that. The end of every month, we give away a $50 gift card to a lucky viewer out there. $50 or more in an order in the USA gets you free shipping. Fabulous customer service, fabulous packaging. That's InStockTrades.com. And I just got my order today. It was awesome.
Joe Goose, you live in New York. You have no excuse not to get good pizza.
Oh, I know. Must be avoid Nutella pizza.
Nutella pizza is good.
I'd have a Nutella pizza with banana slices on it. That sounds like a good dessert pizza.
Mm.
I don't know what this place is. Pagliacci's? I
Sad Clown Pizza.
I don't know.
Isn't Pagliacci the clown in that Watchmen story that he laughs?
Yeah, the sad Clown Pagliacci.
Yeah. Mr. Awesome thinks Tyler's freestyle rapping on the plane. He probably is. I wouldn't give you 2 cents for a Sbarro slice. Somebody's paying $50 for Sbarro pizza? I think that pizza is awful.
I got nothing but love for Tyler, but if I was on the plane sitting next to him, I think I'd drive myself crazy if it was a 4-hour flight.
And he was rapping or just talking to you?
And he was rapping the whole flight.
Oh, no, they're tossing
Boxing.
the plane. No, it's just
The air marshal would have to get involved.
Cut off all liquor sales. People would be rioting. And he's already befriended the passengers he wants in case of a lost sitch. That's the forward thinking.
Just in case we get stuck in. I don't want to spoil anything for anyone, though.
Now he's freestyle texting in the chat. That boy Steve's here. Yo, I'm sorry, I'm late. What up, gang? We're talking about bucket list books we want to read before we depart this mortal coil. So I know we've already read Watchmen and Dark Knight Returns, so we've already got those under our belt, and Sandman and Irredeemable, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. I will say that my first choice, I have to read before I croak, and I hope I do it before the end of the year, or maybe I'll just keep pushing it off so I live longer, is Brubaker's Captain America.
That was the one I was about to call you out for.
That is essential. That is essential reading.
Yeah, I haven't read it yet. It's on my list to do. It's already the middle of June, and I haven't started it. Yeah, I absolutely have to read that. I want to do it this year, though.
But at least you've got it at your fingertips.
Yeah,
It's not a collecting bucket list item. It's just a reading bucket list item.
right. So that's one that I have to read. And they're all getting reprinted, so everybody else can read them now too. And here, I was cleaning. Let me see if I can get this in my. I was cleaning off my desktop. Let's see if I can get this in. I was cleaning off the desktop in my on my laptop, and I found this. I had seriously 400,000. My desktop on my laptop was just full of over 1,000 things I had saved, and this was one of them. Let's see. Don't think you can see that. It's the background now. Let's see if I can.
Is that a picture of me in a hammock with Chewie?
Yeah. Whoops.
That's adorable.
No, it's not working.
Is that your bucket list? Is to have that image?
No, it says Evil Riley for president. It's some graphic I made, but it's all cut off. It's just you and Chewie there. I don't know why it was on my desktop. I did find a super chat Giphy though. One of them worked. Okay, I don't know if this is gonna. How does Gabe do it? I don't know how to work this thing. Yes, darn
You're putting everything in the background instead.
I know.
Of, like,
I don't mean to.
in front of stuff.
Show display names. I'm so lame. I don't know.
So, Brubaker's Cap, but what else are you trying to get in before you get out?
All volumes of Usagi Yojimbo.
Wow.
That's a good one. Is that another that you already have collected and just need to read?
Yeah, I have like 7, 8, 9 of the saga, and then a new book from IDW. And I need to, and they reprinted the first one. Damn it! So there goes my best ever collector story about how I stumbled onto it.
If I'm not mistaken, even the reprint is still hard to find unless it got back. I don't even know. I don't know what happened with that because it came out, but then it came out again. Like it came out twice, and I don't know. By that time, I wasn't in. I mean, I wasn't online, so I don't know if it like was able to be given to everyone who tried to get it.
Okay, as long as it's still hard to get, then I'm happy.
Yeah, that's what I'm trying to say. Like, you might not have to forfeit your status with that volume because the reprint even might be. Because I know it was extremely limited.
I forgot who else has one. It's either Matt or Ryan, I think, has another one of those copies, right? Another one, number 1.
I know Ryan has one. I sent it to him.
Okay,
Mike Noah and I got him one.
That's what I thought.
Okay, so there's 600 copies of the reprint. Bumped the total for volume 1 to 1,500. Thank you, Matt. Good to see you.
But only like 2 people got a copy of the reprint.
No, I got 598. The other 598.
Those are all stuck in a box somewhere.
Omar got canceled twice on Usagi 1.
Yeah, that's what I was referring to as like something happened. Like Dark Horse screwed up on orders, and like the retailer pre-orders were not filled, and then like it showed up again on Diamond like with a separate date. And so I don't know if that second date, which was like a month later, if things started to get filled by that date or not. I don't know. I've that's a blind spot for me, and so I think that that should go on my bucket list as well. But it would have to be I still need to collect it. I don't have any Usagi Yojimbo in my collection aside from like the TMNT crossover one shot that's in the TMNT hardcovers.
Mm-hmm.
So I wasn't intending on mentioning that for my bucket list, but that you've brought it up, I'm gonna add that in. Before I die, I would like to read, and like, I would also like to own the entirety of that series. Of course, I need to read part of it first because if I like spend bukus of cash and then I read the first volume and I'm like, man, this is trash. Everyone has horrible taste. I'm gonna be pissed.
Well, you can still get the Fantagraphics soft cover set. I think that's still in print. I don't know about volumes 2 through 9. Let's see. What is the new Usagi HC that's on DCBS? Got pre-order right now. I didn't see that. Let me go to my DCBS page.
So there was the volume 9. Did that already come out?
Yeah.
Okay.
I have that. Pre-orders. Dark Horse. Would it be Dark Horse or IDW?
It depends on if it's a newer or an older.
A, B, C, E, F, G. Okay, so it's going to be like one of the last ones. Umbrella Academy.
There's a Usagi Yojimbo Special Edition hardcover from Fantagraphics coming out at the end of July. $100. Let's see. It says 1,200 pages. Created in 1984, Stan Sakai's Usagi Yojimbo has vaulted to the forefront of iconic modern comics characters and is a perennial favorite, stuffed with engaging supporting characters, villains, and even a romantic interest or two. Usagi Yojimbo chronicles the action-packed wanderings of a masterless samurai in feudal Japan. For the first 10 years of his career, The Battling Bunny was published by Fantagraphics. In honor of his 25th anniversary, Fantagraphics is releasing a deluxe slipcase set collecting the first 7 Usagi Yojimbo books with over 1,000 pages of story and brimming with extras, full color cover gallery, behind the scenes art, career spanning interview, and more. This is the complete definitive early Usagi Yojimbo.
Okay, I just found it. Matt told me to search for it, and I did. Yeah, that's the Usagi Yojimbo Special Edition you just read.
So 7 hardcovers in one box is what it sounds like.
Fantagraphics is releasing a deluxe set collecting the first 7 Usagi Yojimbo books with over 1,000 pages. That could be a good place for you to start. You could get that at 65 simoleons on IST sister site DCBS.
If I had the extra money, but I don't even know what's coming out in July to know how much I don't know. July's my birthday. Someone send it to me. Happy birthday. Send it to me. then I can get started on my bucket list early. I'm only 30. I'll
Yeah,
be 31
right.
at that point.
If things go like they're supposed to, you guys have more time than I do. Who
Knock
knows?
on wood.
Yeah. Who knows?
Well, Jess, what else are you trying to read in the next 10 years?
I would like to
10
read.
years. Yes, I noticed you slipped that in there.
If I've only got 10 years, I want to read more of Spider-Man. Specifically, I want to read Slot's run. I've read the first 150 issues of Spider-Man probably 18 times. So it's time for me to move on into the Bronze Age.
So
And
if you, instead of reading those 18 times, you could have just kept going. And what's 18 times 180 or 150? I know it's a lot more than 800 or whatever issue they're on now.
Don't make me feel bad, man.
You could have spent all that time reading more Spider-Man.
I know, but I love those issues.
But that's on my list too. Like I too have read a ton of Spider-Man material, but one of my bucket list items would be to treat Spider-Man similarly to how I've treated the X-Men and like collect literally as much as possible. But it's up to Marvel to make it easier for me. Like it's up to Marvel to release the collected editions that cover different series that they really like. Web of Spider-Man is largely uncollected. A lot of Spectacular is not collected. So as they go forward and collect those, and I pick them up, I'll be filling in my gaps in my collection. So I've already gotten everything that's available for Amazing, aside from the Nick Spencer run, because I'm waiting to see if there's going to be hardcovers. But I've read that anyway, so it doesn't really matter.
So that means Jess, you've read through Steve Ditko, John Romita Sr., and who came after Sr.? I always forget.
Well, the writer he would have gone through would be you read stuff by Jerry Conway, so I think you'd have read the original Clone Saga.
Sorry,
I believe you would have read the original Clone Saga.
Oof.
I don't think that's in the first 150.
With where Miles Warren clones Gwen. Not the later stuff, not the Ben Reilly material.
Yeah, right. Is that in book 4? What
it might no, so that would be in book 5, and book 5 starts to go beyond 150. So it very I don't remember what issues, it might have been in the 160s, but that 5th omnibus then is going to be collecting the material that you need to start.
That's where I need to start then.
Yeah,
and
you need to start getting in.
Thinks it's Ross Andrew on art. That sounds right.
Yeah.
Sarah says he remembers the Gwen clone in the 140s. I don't.
It might have been present, but like, because you know how they string along events back then. You get like I was just looking back at the original appearances of Venom. You had like one page at the end of 298, and then one page at the end of 299, and then 300. They were like, "Here's Venom."
Yeah.
A3N trolling me heavily here. He wants Odyssey in an oversized format. I'm going to take that personally. How dare you? Omni Nation wants Superior Spider-Man to get the omnibus treatment.
Same.
Ow.
Sure.
Yeah.
I have the hardcovers, so I'm okay with that.
It's great.
I'm not okay with that. I have the hardcovers and I need it in a single volume.
Well, you are the omnibus collector. I don't have a title to live up to except a dog.
Well, if they were to collect Slot's run, they would start. It would be with what, 3? You would collect everything up to Spider Island, and then from there you would collect all the Superior stuff, and then wrap it up with like when the aftermath of all the Superior stuff, where he's like big tech, right?
Yeah, it goes to worldwide. Yeah. Where he basically takes over the Parker Industries that Ock had set up.
Yeah, where he has that really bad suit. I hated that suit.
It was with the shiny. Yeah, the suit has like a shining green spider on the front, and his eyes have a green glow as well. But the rest of it is pretty much just the regular spider suit. He's supposed to be like a technologically advanced suit because now he has.
Oh, that suit, the green suit. Yeah.
Spider Island was a fun event.
Yeah, it was.
That suit?
No, that's big time.
Big time.
Yeah, I didn't mind that one.
I haven't
Big
read
time.
that.
This one where it's like an armor, but it has like a green glow around the spider.
It's towards the end of his run.
Yeah, it was the last chunk of material he did.
Okay, well, obviously I need to read that before I croak.
Before the clone conspiracy.
So you've read no Roger Stern, Jess? None of this stuff?
I've read several stories in there, but I haven't read the entire thing.
Okay.
Man, Stearns is like the top-notch shit right there.
Right.
The Hobgoblin material.
I should go right to that and just start reading that.
It's not a bad. That starts around like 200 or something.
That'd be good.
200,
Yeah.
250, something like that.
That sounds good.
The 206 and then 224 to 252. So there should be a volume 6 of Amazing Spider-Man, and that should bridge all the way up to Stern, if I'm not mistaken. Either 6 or 7.
Man, you're making me want to read Spider-Man tonight. I might break out the Marvel Unlimited app. Find some stuff on there.
Let's go, baby. But yeah, that would be a bucket list item for me, is to read all the Amazing that I haven't read. I read a lot of Amazing, but then to go into a lot of the spin-offs and stuff, because my blind spots are more in like Web of Spider-Man and Spectacular Spider-Man. But again, it's up to Marvel, because they have like they release stuff like volume 1 of the Tombstone stuff by I think this is Jerry Conway. Yeah. Volume 1 of the Tombstone stuff by Jerry Conway, and then they didn't ever do a volume 2, and here I am, the blue balls, just waiting for Marvel.
And Sazmurph is saying that Full Gwen was in 144. I may have stopped reading after Gwen died, actually.
That's what
I remember.
Was like, F this.
Yeah, it was
my girl's dead.
Event. And now that I've read, gosh, I can't even remember the name of the story, the JMS story. That it turns out Joe Quesada shoved down his throat. What's the name of that? Sins Past or something?
Oh, okay.
Now I don't even want to read the second book of JMS material.
The JMS stuff is good, though. It's a legendary. It's a solid run.
It was great up until that story. I loved Ezekiel.
Well, there was the stuff, even the stuff after that story. It was like that one arc, because then after that you get, at least when I was reading it back in like when I was in college, I think the other Back in Black, the Civil War tie-in, and that all kind of culminated together, and then it led into One More Day, which, like, whatever. At this point, One More Day is what it is. It happened, and it's irrelevant. Played out the way that it has.
In the grand scheme of things, it's irrelevant. And to me, it's become more of a punching bag than anything else on JMS.
Yeah.
And it's kind of lazy at this point. Okay, it happened. We know it was most likely editorial interference that got in the way of the story.
Because it was Quesada that wrote it. He usurped the series and wrote the last little crossover 4-issue dealy, and it just took it from JMS. But like, that doesn't negate everything that he did, because JMS's story before One More Day culminates with what leads into One More Day, and that's the emotional gut punch. Yes. That was the part that was like when I was reading it, I was like, oh damn, and then it leads into One More Day, and like reading it all together, it's like I understand where he was coming from, like what the motivations were for Peter. But then looking back at it, because that was like 15 years ago, 20, I don't even remember what year it was published in, but so long ago. At this point, any sort of scorn that anyone had for that story arc when it originally happened should have passed by now, because we're so far beyond Brand New Day and everything that happened after that, that like at this point, people are having nostalgia for the material that happened after that. People are, oh man, you remember how good this story was and this story was? Like, I look back fondly all the damn time to stuff like the Gauntlet. Like, shit, man. Gauntlet was dope as hell. I'm gonna turn on a light.
I liked when Civil War was kicking off. Civil War 1, not Civil War 2. We don't discuss Civil War 2.
Not after
Riley to get drunk.
When Civil War was kicking off, that was one of the tie-ins that I was like, you know what, this is actually a really good tie-in.
Yeah.
I'm really enjoying this story. It was that, the Wolverine story I had a good time with. Iron Man, because Iron Man was kind of a necessity. The Captain America story was weird because it's very apparent you have two different writers that have two different styles of Captain America writing it. So you would read Brubaker's take, and then you jump in and read whatever Mark Millar was writing, and the character made no sense almost at all in terms of how they act.
The Spider-Man was just really great because it had that really personal sense of like, what does it mean to reveal your identity to the world? Like, coming from someone who was so hesitant for exactly the reasons that played out. It was so expertly crafted that, like, I have people ask a lot about, like, when you read events, like, people ask all the time, like, what's the reading order that I should do for Civil War? And I tell them, like, don't do it, or just like the main event and like a couple of tie-ins. And one of the tie-ins, without any doubt in my mind, I always say, read the Spider-Man arc for Civil War, The Amazing Spider-Man by J. Michael Straczynski, because that arc is it perfectly displays the impact on what they're doing to the individual characters.
Do you remember all those tie? Man, 90% of those tie-ins, they had like one issue, and then it barely tied into the main story of it. Wasn't there like a Fantastic Four tie-in that it was?
There's a ton, like everything tied in, and it's just like, oh, I'm for the thing, I'm against the
thing. I really, I enjoyed it, but I found it really annoying because every time I would walk into my local shop, that's all I saw. Every single book was Civil War something. And then the pain in the butt was the main title for Civil War would constantly get delayed. So it pushed the entire publishing line. It made the entire publishing line basically become delayed as well. So books were coming out of order. Tie-ins weren't making sense like they should. It was just a mess.
So basically, on people's bucket list should not be Civil War.
I enjoy it.
The comment is asking you what your medals are for.
Oh, those are jiu-jitsu medals.
Jiu-jitsu medals. And also somebody's complimenting you. Jesse, say what? On your burger. I asked you about your burger earlier because it was like this tall. Did you have a piece of chicken in there too?
No, I didn't have a piece of chicken in there.
What was it? Because it was this tall. What all went in there? There was like the burger down here.
And the patty was like this thick.
What's that?
The patty is like this thick.
What was on top of it? Fried pickles?
Sweet fire pickles, bacon, lettuce, mayo. It was cheese, a bun, just the works.
Yeah, Taylor sent me a picture of it.
Mushrooms and sauteed onions.
Taylor sent me a picture of it. Oh, and Taylor said that he just got done reading the JMS autobiography. He said it was one of the best books he's ever read of anything. He said it was an incredible book, the autobiography, that JMS had a terrible childhood. He told me that Quesada, as you said, stepped in and wrecked a couple of his stories. Taylor reads a lot of different books, and for him to say that that was that great a book, that's a big statement. So anybody out there that wants to read a good book, JMS's autobiography is apparently brilliant.
Well, you know what I want to read before I die?
Yes. What?
This will be the next. No, maybe, but this will be the next Simpsons type thing for me. Like something that like I'm going to just push myself through and know that I'll hate it, but at least I get to like refer to it.
You're referring to the time you watched every season of The Simpsons?
Every single episode of The Simpsons all the way through, and now I get to talk about it with disdain.
Why would you
often
Why would you put yourself through that?
Well, the thought at the time, because at the time I had watched like all of the other major, I guess like the Fox animation, like adult animation shows. So I had watched all of like the Family Guy and all the dumb like spin-offs that it had, King of the Hill. So all those types of shows. And I was like, I've watched a lot of The Simpsons, but I've never watched every episode of The Simpsons like I have for everything else. Fuck it. So I went all the way back. I went back to season 2 because I knew that I already seen season 1 in its entirety. So I went back to season 2 and I just started there and I went forward. And I literally watched every single episode. And then I continued because that was years ago that I finished. And since then, I've continued to watch every single episode after it airs, watching on Hulu. And I will tell you, it has not been good. Like every season, there's like maybe 2 episodes where I'm like, that was a pretty good episode. But usually I'm like, what is this?
Usually Treehouse of Horror is still funny.
Yeah. Treehouse of Horror is still funny. And then they haven't in a little bit, but they do still often do good couch gags. There have been some good ones in the previous seasons, but I don't remember the last time that there was a really good. It might have been like the Homer Vice one was the last good one. But anyway,
didn't they just get renewed for 3 more seasons?
I wouldn't be surprised if they got renewed for like 10 more seasons.
What's the comic equivalent?
I'm going to collect and read every Garfield strip.
Wow. Wow.
What?
That's ambitious.
Yep. That's going to be a goal. That is a bucket list goal of mine. I want to have every Garfield in my collection. And that would be like the tip of an iceberg of like the rest of like strip comics and stuff. But that's like the behemoth. That's the one at the top. That's the one that I need to conquer. That's the Everest. I need to conquer all of Garfield. And it's not just reading it, because I can go online and read it wherever, because they all those things are published and in public domain, like most newspaper comics are. But I want to own it. So I want to have every single strip, every collected strip book in my collection somewhere, taking up space, so that every time I see it, I can look at it and be like, ugh. But because there's a lot of good in there, just like The Simpsons. Like there's a lot of good in there, but there's a lot of bad in there. And it's going to be amazing and horrible at the same time. And that is one of my bucket list things. Because I grew up like, as a kid, I'm sure the same for both of y'all. Just my parents, my dad would hand me the comics. Like anytime the newspaper came in, he's reading the newspaper, he'd push me the comics section. He's like, here you go. And Garfield was always the most recognizable one, for me at least, because of the fact that we had like the Garfield and Friends cartoon. And I had that predisposition to the character and to the comics. And so that was always one that was with me. And one of my best friends growing up, and still really good friends now, Chris, he loved Garfield. Like he had a lot of those old Garfield comics strips, collections and stuff. So I'd go over to his place and he had Garfield on VHS. We'd watch Garfield together. I'd read the Garfield comics at his house. So those, it's one of those things. It's very similar to The Simpsons in that matter, where like everyone knows The Simpsons, and I had watched a lot of The Simpsons. There were so many times when I would watch episodes on Fox, new or reruns or whatever, but I had never watched all the way through. And I was like, when that happened, I'm like, you know what? I'm going to do it. This is going to be an undertaking, but I'm going to do it. And I did it, and it was awful, but I don't regret it that much. Just a little bit.
Some men go to war to serve their country. You watch Garfield. You watch The Simpsons.
I'm doing it for everyone.
Thank you, Benjamin Wyatt, for the super chat. He says, remind me not to wrestle Lou for his collection. Awesome show, guys. Thank you, Benjamin.
Thanks, man.
JP, the good seasons of Simpsons are 2 through 7, and then stop.
I
2
think
through 5 are the best ever of all television.
You get some classics in that. You get the Scorpio episode. You get Mr. Plow. You get Who Killed Mr. Burns in that as well?
Is what?
So.
Yeah.
Who Killed Mr. Burns is in
That
that.
was season 3 or 4, somewhere in there. Yeah.
You get my personal favorite gag, which is Iron Butterfly. I crack up every single time.
Iron Butterfly.
I crack up every single time with
In
that
the Garden of Eden by Iron Butterfly.
You get Fat Homer. Those are great seasons, man.
My favorite is the Lisa Gets Competition one. It's also the episode where Homer finds the big pile of sugar in the road and starts bagging it up to sell. And there's blaster caps in it and stuff. And he calls them, prizes like Cracker Jack prizes. And so he's got this huge pile of sugar. And I love that episode. And Lisa has a rival. And that's the one where Diorama Rama happens. That's such a great episode.
What's you also get the one where they go to Itchy and Scratchy Land? I love that one.
Oh yeah,
mechanical robots.
We're never.
Is that the Bort? Is that the Bort episode?
Wrong.
Who names their kid Bort?
Bort.
Come here, Bort.
So hard when I saw that. Barclay Bort.
I think Jess, I sent you when I was in Universal, the Simpsons store has a Bort little name tag that you can buy. I went through looking through in the Quickie Mart store. I went through looking everything and I was like, they have to have one. And sure enough, they had Bort. But I would say for this Simpsons, in my opinion, like season 1 is rough because it's still like finding its footing. Season 2 is where it starts really getting great. And I would say all the way through season 9 is where it's good. I would say 9. I would say all the way through 9. Season 10 through like, I want to say like early teens is like, it's okay. And then it falls really hard for several seasons. And then somewhere in the later teens, something happens with like their budget and they start spending it on like guests and stuff like that. And there's actually some really good gags in the later teens going into the 20s with like utilizing special guests like celebrities and stuff and like using music and stuff. And like there was one episode, I don't remember when it was, but they had a gag with Bart doing The Hardest Button to Button by the White Stripes. And he's like playing off of the music video where it's like the drum, every beat it moves. So they got more money and they were able to spend it to do stuff with copyrights and whatnot. And then after that, once you get into like the mid to late 20s is where it just starts nosediving hard. And from that point, like at that point, when I was doing my watch through, I was like, I've already come this far. There's no reason for me, because I think there was either 27 or 28 seasons at that point. And if I'm already at like 22, I was like, this is only like 100 more episodes. I'm powering through. I'm not weak. I will make this happen. This is going to be another like accomplishment in my life.
So overall, would you say Futurama is a better product? Because I think Futurama nailed the ending twice. Not once.
Yes.
Twice. They came back and they got canceled again and they nailed the ending a second time.
It's always good all the way through every season.
Yeah, Futurama is A+ material. And that was another thing. I wanted to be able to make that comparison, absolutely. And yeah, absolutely. Futurama also made me cry so many times.
The dog episode. Like, everybody
either from sad stuff or happy stuff. The dog episode and the one with the giant bee that they get stung by. That one killed me. And then like the finale. I think both of the finales.
The finale was beautiful. The second one was beautiful.
Mm-hmm. Oh, absolutely.
Where they're basically going, so do you want to do this again? And they go through their entire life all over. It just perfect.
I don't know that I can watch the dog episode again.
I can't.
Absolutely tore me apart. Oh, just thinking about it makes me want to cry.
Mm-hmm.
That's remarkable for an animated show to make me want to cry.
I described the episode to Megan once, and I got choked up trying to describe why it was so sad. And then she's like, I know the episode. You know, and I was like, then why'd you let me continue to talk about it? I'm like, it's like the beginning of Up, dude. Like,
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, well, B-Bong, what is his name from Inside Out?
Bing Bong.
Oh,
Bing
yeah.
Bong. Yeah, Bing Bong.
I had a pop of him.
Mm-hmm.
What was his name?
Bing Bong.
Bing Bong.
Bing Bong. Bing Bong. Damn, man. Yeah, Futurama was great. I haven't watched any of what's the new one? Disenchanted, I think is what it's
I heard
called.
it's okay. I heard it's all right.
I think King of the Hill also was excellent all
Dude,
the
King
way
of
through.
the Hill. Like,
You know, I never finished it.
Well,
I don't think I've watched every single episode, but I've watched a lot of it, and I will tell you that so much of it is so accurate of Texas life. Like, it is. It's absolutely accurate.
that's amazing. I love that show. I love it when Connie gets her period and Hank has to help her with the feminine products.
I need to go back and watch. That's what I need to use as my background material when I'm working is King of the Hill.
The boy ain't right.
God dang it.
I'm trying to stop the infection, and you're talking about driving the monkey to the airport.
God dang it, Bobby. my grandpa kind of sounded like Hank Hill.
I
Boy.
love that show.
All right. I don't know what else is on my bucket list. Like I don't want to go
Garfield?
into. So Garfield, that's like the my Mount Everest. And I don't want to go into like all the manga and stuff because there's so many that are like classic series that have never been released in English that I would like to read all of, but that would be an entire 30 minutes of me just listing things.
Jesse says I started
Yeah.
Hachino Ippo. That was
that's one of them
for me. Is that a bucket list manga?
Yeah, I have it all on my iPad. It's like 120 something volumes right now, maybe more.
Whoa.
And it's never been released even partially in English. The anime was, or part of the anime, I don't remember, but the manga has never been released. And at this point, it's one of those things where I'm like, how would they even like commit to that in English? Because it's so long. And generally, on average, you get a series gets released every other month with a single volume. And I've like done the math in my head, and I'm like, even if they did monthly releases of like a 2-in-1 or 3-in-1, which sometimes happens as well, it would still take forever, like many years for it to be done. But whatever, that's definitely a bucket list item. Those are the main things for me. I think like that's, Garfield, Spider-Man, Usagi Yojimbo, the rest of the X-Men stuff that I haven't read, which it's not that much in comparison to the others, so it's not that bad to think about. And then a bunch of manga like Hajime no Ippo, Kinnikuman, a bunch of Knights of the Zodiac spin-offs, stuff like that. But there's if I could read those things, I would feel a little bit more accomplished with my life. But then Garfield was spin-off. Like I like conquer that Mount Everest and I get to the peak of Garfield, and then there would be an avalanche of me rolling down that hill, picking up other comic strips along the way. I'd be like, all right, Family Circus, let's go. Marmaduke, yeah, Heathcliff, baby. Let's do it.
What about you, Lou?
I mean, for me on my bucket list, I've always wanted to read Alan Moore's From Hell, but I've heard it's a bit of a slog. I wanted to attempt to read it.
I didn't find it a slog. I found it fascinating.
Really? Okay, I've heard the opposite. I've heard it's kind of a slog, and that the the lettering in it is really difficult to get through and to read it the way it's written.
Yeah, I see that.
So I'm fascinated with Jack the Ripper and like that time period and stuff like that, and the whole concept of Alan Moore thinking, I think I've cracked it, and he put it into a comic form. It's fascinating to me. I've always wanted to give it a shot.
I really liked it. I read it when it was coming out, and I thought it was brilliant. I don't know what the other criticisms are of it, but I would encourage you to read it. I really enjoyed it, and it's come out with so many different volumes now, including like a reader's guide that shows how he built his case based on the research he did.
Mm-hmm.
That
There's
really
also
made it
the
super interesting.
newly. There's like a newly remastered color edition, I believe. That I think the artist was involved with also. Yeah. It was recently was being published. I haven't picked it up or read any of it, but
Okay.
So now would probably be a good time to get into it.
Yeah, that's on my list. I also want to do at some point Grant Morrison's The Invisibles.
Yes.
But I know the thing is with The Invisibles is that there's so much you have to read and so much you have to also use for supplemental material to get the full thing of it, and you just have to be on all sorts of kind of in your head in order to understand even really what's going on through a lot of the Invisibles and stuff like that. But I've heard it's absolutely very rewarding, and I love Grant Morrison's stuff. I've read a good chunk of his back catalog, but that's one of those things that's always just evaded me because partially I've been intimidated by it simply because of the amount of work that would go into me reading something of that scope.
I'd say just look at it as just the work itself and goes through it linear, and then it's something because it warrants being reread anyway. So just go through it once without thinking about anything else, and then when you decide to return to it, then expand upon it with other things as you see fit. Because you can read through it just fine because I read through it, I think when I was about 18, 19 in college, just picked up the 7 paperbacks and read all the way through. Yeah. And I enjoyed the hell out of it. It's very clear how many things it has influenced outside of comics and inside of comics. Yeah, stuff like the Matrix. And also, like, you see, looking back at it now, there's even more context to take out of it, knowing, with Morrison's coming out about his gender identity and stuff like that. You can see a lot of things of that in there. So there's a lot to really take from it, even if you don't go into it with a helping hand or anything.
Yeah, what's you're the Morrison guy. What's your favorite Morrison work?
Animal Man.
Same.
Hands down.
Animal Man
Hands
for me is brilliant all the way through.
I was answering for Riley. I know that's the answer.
Yeah, because that's my favorite comic of all time.
Yeah.
I think it's also such a great intro to Morrison's works because it gives you a start that's pretty grounded before kind of taking off, and it doesn't hold your hand necessarily, but it does kind of like keep you at arm's length to make sure like this is Morrison like about to lift off, and then from Animal Man you can bounce forward through like from there, then Doom Patrol, and then the Invisibles, and just keep going and going and going in more complex stuff. But Animal Man is my favorite.
It's a toss up for me between that and All Star Superman. Like they are.
Oh my gosh, yeah,
right there.
All Star Superman's remarkable.
That's my favorite Superman, hands down. And I'm all like, that's the one title that when people say they don't like it, that's where I feel like I have to hold my tongue. I'm like, how do you not? Like, I don't want to get mad at people for their opinions, but that's the one where I almost do.
Like I get if Frank Quitely's art is not for you, because he's got a unique take, and some people don't like the way he does faces and stuff like that. But Jesus, that if you can get past that, the art is just beautiful and the writing is just next level. And I don't think anybody has gotten Superman as a character overall since Grant Morrison. Nobody for me has come close to what Superman is since Grant Morrison.
Big statement, but there it is.
Yeah, I think that's pretty true, because it's not that nobody has done Superman well, but no one has done Superman as well or as perfectly. just encompassing everything that's important about the character.
I don't have a problem with the quietly art at all. That was what attracted me to New X-Men. And then Morrison's writing just made me really love it. That's when I fell in love with Emma and the Cuckoos and the whole thing. So that might be my favorite Morrison book is New X-Men because it got me into the X-Men. And I just have that in a special place in my heart. That whole book I just loved. I loved all.
It has one of my favorite first issues of all time, where that things start off with a bang in that first X-Men issue. Morrison wastes no time in setting the stakes of what this is.
Yeah. Immediately with the stuff with Sandra Nova, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I really love the expansion of my favorite thing was expanding the Weapon X into being Weapon 10 of the Weapon Plus project, and just making that into this huge. It's things like that. Like Morrison has an ability to do things that are retcons, but that like fit so seamlessly into the continuity that you forget it's a retcon. There and with Batman, like I feel like a lot of different things of not exactly retcons, but like when Morrison was like, yeah, everything is canon for Batman, and then Wenton was like, here's Batman of Zur-En-Arrh and Batmite, and I was like, yes, there they are.
I just love he brought back Matches Malone.
Yeah,
like everything. Morrison did the everything is canon before DC decided to say that about everything. I'm like, you're not going to do it as good as they did. You're just not.
Let's see. Next, Imagine Up put up his bucket list, and I think it's interesting. All of Lone Wolf and Cub, all of Peanuts, Morrison's complete bibliographies, all of Tezuka's English translations, all of JoJo's Bizarre Adventure.
It's a good list.
I've at least covered number 5 on that one. I'm about
JoJo
10 chapters behind on JoJolian, but I've at least done that, and that's an experience. It's bizarre.
And every Fantastic Four related book and major appearance ever.
Wow,
that's a good one.
That's a small one.
That would be a good one to do. I thought about that as well, actually. Before we did the show, I was like, probably all of Fantastic Four, because I already have like a large chunk through what's available in Omnibus, and I've read a lot of the stuff that's not. It's one of those like attainable goals.
Yeah.
I'll tell you what's not on my bucket list is anything Golden Age, because I don't even have enough time for that in the next 70 years.
I'm not sure I have enough time for that. And that's the stuff I hope, this is what I hope. I hope I live long enough to see Silver and Bronze Age DC Omnis, specifically for Batman and Superman. Because I really want that Silver Age and the very beginning of the Bronze Age for both those characters. That's when they were 68 through like 1974, to me is the sweet spot of that era. And that's for me personally. I really want to see that collected before I take the dirt nap.
See, my interest begins with post-crisis.
Yeah.
So I don't know that I would be interested in coming out of that, like going pre-crisis with Batman or any other character personally.
I don't think your interest lies there, so you shouldn't.
We're talking John Byrne, right? John Byrne, Man of Steel?
Byrne, Man of Steel, and then like basically from year 1 onward with Batman. A little bit before that, but that's basically where post-crisis began. And I mean, we're lucky because they've been putting out the collections. I mean, we have all those Cape Crusader, Dark Knight Detective books that are filling the gap from basically year 1 to Nightfall.
Still burns me up that we never got that John Byrne Man of Steel Omnibus. We were right there. We were this close to greatness, and Just at the 5-yard line, they're like, nope. They pulled a Charlie Brown on us.
Let's see. I have some questions here. Yeah, this is what I'm talking about. Denny O'Neil's Batman run is really great. I really loved it. Maybe I can sell you my golden age omnis, Jesse Christian. I've been thinking about dumping them, but I can't decide. What do you guys think about Batman Universe? I think it's the best Batman book ever since New 52 started. That's the Bendis Batman. I loved it. Personally. Me, Omnidog, I loved it. I think they should switch. Bendis should write Batman and King should write Superman because I loved his King's Superman.
But I don't know if it's one of those things where it's like, because it was in such a condensed point, like it was what, 200 pages worth of material for each of those stories. Like beyond that, would either of them have anything more substantial to say with those characters that would make it worthwhile? Right. I'm not saying they wouldn't. I'm just saying like that's something I would think about, because I know, I couldn't tell you off the top of my head, but I know that there's been creators where I'm like, oh man, they would be great on this because they did that character really well here, and then when they do the thing that I wanted them to do, I was like, never mind.
Well, King is writing Supergirl right now.
I forgot about that.
He is? Yeah. Supergirl?
Mm-hmm. He's coming out with, I think it's a limited series too.
What's happening with Strange Adventures and Batman and Catwoman?
He's wrapping up Strange Adventures right now. I think they're like on 11, I want to say, with Mitch Gerard.
Okay, good. What about Batman and Catwoman? I
have no clue.
Okay.
Yeah, I agree with Jesse Christian. King is not allowed to write after issue 12.
Shorty wants to know, I don't remember this. What season of Futurama is the dog episode?
Please don't make me look back on that.
Yeah,
I don't remember what.
Because I don't want to. I want to help you, Shorty, but I can't without wrecking my evening. It's so heartbreaking. I'm getting
Futurama dog episode.
You're a good guy, Shorty, but I can't help you. It's going to ruin me. Google. Do me a favor and Google it, Shorty. I can't help you. Bat and Cat is still coming out, says Andrew. Okay. All right. I just don't want him to get spread too thin. I happen to be a Tom King fan, so Taylor and I still love his Batman. Jesse Christian says Batcat is issue 5 and Strange Adventures is issue 10. Okay, and Gerard says the dog episode is season 4, episode 7.
There you go.
So now you know what to avoid.
Jurassic Park. Oh, I forgot about Rorschach. It's on issue 9. I forgot all about Rorschach.
Lane Wayne.
Yeah, I feel like his spark kind of fizzled out, which is kind of a shame, because he still gave us some. Yeah. Because it's still a shame because he still gave us some incredible books like Mr. Miracle, Vision, which is amazing. Yeah, maybe he is just one of those writers where just keep him in 12, 15 issue batches. Some people can't write the long form game; they could just do small short stories.
Is that his first full run? Has everything else been a short miniseries?
Batman, I think
he co-wrote Grayson with Tim Seeley.
Yeah.
But aside from that, I believe Batman was the only like really long form run he did.
This is an interesting typo. I Live Buns is supposed to be I Love King. I Live Buns too. I love King. Cinematic Galaxy's bucket list is all of Spider-Man, all of Fantastic Four, Oh, entire Carl Barks Don Rosa Ducks library. That's a good one. Berserk and Denny O'Neil's Batman. Also a good one. Christina asks, are there B-list titles that you want to tackle bucket list? I have some pre-New 52 Firestorm that I want to read, but the other titles keep getting pushed to the front. Are there B-list titles that you want to tackle bucket list? B-list titles.
I'm sure. Like, I know there's a lot of Marvel characters that I haven't read any of the older material for. Like, I've always wanted to read the Luke Cage, Iron Fist, Heroes for Hire stuff.
I remember that stuff.
Classic Moon Knight, not just what's in the Omnibus, but a lot of the material that's never been collected before.
Jeff Parker's Thunderbolts for me. I've never read it.
Oh, yeah.
Do it. It's so good.
When I cleaned off my desktop, I also came across 15 screenshots of Riley's Tumblr page for X-Men reading order.
Saying, read Thunderbolts.
X-Men reading order, Avengers reading order, and Thunderbolts. There was a whole thing on Thunderbolts. I saved those 3. I got rid of the other 2014, the Tumblr pages from 2014.
All right, guys, I got to get out of here.
Yeah, I think we can wrap up. I got it.
Let me give the last but not least promo for our fabulous sponsor, InStockTrades.com, where you can get your collected editions up to 50% off. Loyalty discounts add 2% to that. At the end of every month, we are fortunate enough to give away a $50 credit or gift card to a lucky viewer out there. $50 or more in an order in the United States will get you free shipping, fabulous customer service, fabulous packaging. That's InStockTrades.com. And is that it? That's it. That's it for the show. Thank you, everybody, for watching the 3 original OmniBros. We've been together for like 5 years now. And
next time we should tell other people what they need to read before they die.
Oh, you want to do that before you go? Tell them what?
No, I think that's what we should do for our next one.
Our next one, okay. Everybody else's bucket list.
Yeah, we should say what we think of our. Like, I would say everyone needs to read Animal Man by Morrison before they die.
Absolutely.
And I'm going to say Irredeemable by Mark Waid.
So I think that would be a good one to like get a few titles each of us and tell people like these are the things that if you have not read them, you need to read these before you kick the bucket.
And A3N wants Odyssey in oversized format. Don't think just because you trolled me, I'm going to forget that. I'm going to remember that. Okay, next episode is your bucket list, what we think you should be reading. So peace and love, peace and love. Thank you for tuning in. Thank you to our sponsor. Thank you to the chat. It was a very good chat. And thank you to all the viewers watching afterwards. We love you sincerely.